Welcome into Week 2 of the Fearless Football Forecast powered by Greenville Utilities on Pirate Radio 1250 and 930 and online at reflector.com. I am Clip Brock. Joining me here from the Daily Reflector sports team, we got Jordan Anders from the Prep Beat. Hello, Jordan. Welcome back to the show.
Good to be here.
Tony Castleberry making his 2015 Fearless Football Forecast debut. Tony, good to see you.
It feels good to be here, Clip.
Tony,
it really does.
Welcome to the show. Ronnie Woodward was in that seat last week.
Yep.
This week you'll be providing the knowledge.
Yeah, and unfortunately, when viewers see that I'm here, Ronnie's never going to be heard from again because they're going to want me in this chair. And I'll do that.
Ronnie who?
I'll do it. That's a great point. I'll do that for the fans.
You are the superstar.
Thank you very much.
At the Reflector.
Thank you.
Guys, 1 week in the books and just one win for Pitt County teams, and that team is D.H. Conley, who put up 65 points in a win over Southeast Raleigh. The other three teams in action all falling, so we'll see how they can rebound. And we'll go ahead and start with D.H. Conley. They take on another Pitt County team in Aiden Grifton. Conley 65 points last week. Aiden Grifton suffered a loss. Tony, what do you think about this one?
I think that Aiden Grifton's in for a long night.
Yeah.
That Conley offense, obviously, able to put up points with Holden Naylor's running the show there. The defense is really going to want to rebound after giving up 55 points. And Aiden Grifton's just going to be overmatched here. I just feel like that's the way it is. I mean, you would think that they could maybe keep it close for a half, but ultimately that's going to be Conley's game.
Jordan, you saw the fireworks last week. Holden Naylor's and company were able to put up, and it's not just a one-man show over there at D.H. Conley. He had some help last week, and we'll have some help this week against Aiden Grifton.
Right, yeah, and I say he'll need it, and not to slide Aiden Grifton, but man, like you said, I mean, coming off of scoring 65 last week, and Aiden Grifton with the struggles they have, still trying to figure out what they are early in the year, and trying to figure out what direction they're headed in. I don't see this one. I don't see them having to win a shootout like they did last week. D.H.
Conley, the pick for both Jordan and Tony against those Aiden Grifton Chargers. All right, J.H. Rose getting ready to kick off their 2015 season as they will head down to Wilmington to take on Laney. Jordan, Dave Wojtecki's guys got to be ready to play a game after being off last week.
Yeah, and that's what he and I talked about in practice yesterday. Actually, was that they're tired of hitting each other. They're ready to go hit somebody else, and they're going to go down to Laney, a team that they beat last year. You know, they've got everybody knows about Cornell Powell. The question is going to be offensively at the quarterback spot where Ace Alexander's taking over there, and so we'll see how that works. One thing Wojtecki and I talked about yesterday was the fact that there's been rain in and out of the forecast all week in Wilmington. He said, you know, it may get a little muddy, a little sloppy down there, but you know, regardless, I think Rose goes down there and opens the year strong.
South Central at West Craven, the Falcons shut out Tony 40-0 last week against Green Central. They got another tough test as they go to Craven County to face West Craven. The Eagles coming off a win. It's another tough one for the Falcons here.
It really is. And, you know, the fact that they not only lost but got shut out by that Green Central team is really a bit of a surprise. And you hate it for Andy, too, a first-year head coach getting off on that kind of start. But I don't think it's getting a lot better for him having to travel to West Craven. That's you know, generally, even when they're not great, that is a tough place to go play. And it's a daunting task for South Central. Unfortunately for them, I think they're falling to 0-2.
Jordan, what do you think? South Central, can they get back on the track this week, or do you think West Craven has got their number?
Well, and you look at West Craven coming in off a win over Aiden Grifton, so they got a little bit of momentum to start the year. It's them, like Tony mentioned, them getting shut out last week was definitely the biggest surprise and raises a lot of questions. And I'm gonna go with West Craven and give South Central a week to kind of figure those questions out.
Jordan Anders, Tony Castleberry, I'm Clip Brock on the Fearless Football Forecast, powered by Greenville Utilities on Pirate Radio 1250 and 930 and Reflector.com. Guys, North Pitt getting off to their first game for 2015. They take on Kinston. We saw Kinston last week pick up a victory over Farmville Central, so the Vikings looking in good form. How about North Pitt, Jordan, as they get into their first game? What do you think about the Panthers this year?
Well, it's just like Rose, having that extra week. I guess it depends on whether or not they'll be able to come out a little sharper, having had the extra week, or whether that's gonna hurt them. And you look at Kinston coming off a big win last week over Farmville Central, in which the score I don't know really indicates how well they played, given how many times Farmville Central turned the ball over, which we'll mention next. But I'm gonna go with Kinston. North Pitt hasn't won a season opener since 2010. So they typically tend to stumble the first week, and so we'll see if they can get it on track next week. But I'm gonna go with Kinston.
Tony Castleberry, Jordan Anders, Clip Brock here on the Fearless Football Forecast, powered by Greenville Utilities on Pirate Radio 1250 and 930 and Reflector.com. One more game, guys, as Farmville Central coming off a loss, taking on North Lenoir. And Jordan, I understand the Jaguars had trouble holding on to the ball last week.
8 fumbles and lost 6 of them. And when I talked to Scott Gardner this week, all he could do is chuckle about it, because what else can you do? I mean, it was definitely not the start they were looking for. And it's like I mentioned with Kinston, it's hard to get a gauge on how good Kinston is or how good or bad Farmville Central is, just because of you can't count on that many turnovers in a game. So with them going to North Lenoir, I mean, they beat them 59-22 last year. I mean, I guess if you're coming off a dud of an opener like they are, I guess that's a good opponent to see. So I'm going to go with the Jags this week.
Tony, as I said earlier this week on the Sports Bar, Farmville Central not going to be held to 13 points a lot this year, and as Jordan just said, they scored 59 against North Lenoir last year. I think they bounced back here. What do you think about the Jags?
I think Farmville Central is going to be a motivated bunch.
Yeah.
I really feel like they're going to want to make a statement in this game, and maybe even try to score a few extra for making up for the few that they didn't score last week. And I think Farmville Central gets a pretty easy win here. And going back to my previous pick, I said week 1. It's week 1 for North Pitt. Week 2 for everybody else. Just wanted to catch myself.
I know everybody watching was concerned about that, so I'm glad
they hit the
that.
pause button. And they were like, "This Castleberry guy's uninformed." No.
Hopefully they stuck around.
No. I realize what I did.
Do you guys ever disagree on a pick, by the way, or you guys?
We will disagree on all of them the rest of the way.
Sounds good. Excellent. All right, Tony Castleberry, Jordan Anders joining me here on the Fearless Football Forecast, powered by Greenville Utilities on Pirate Radio 1250 and 930 and online at Reflector.com. Guys, enjoyed it. We'll do it again next week.
Exactly.